At exactly 7:42 a.m., Tuesday, October 15th, 2019, security cameras captured a standard garbage truck lifting an industrial container at a deserted warehouse outside Phoenix, Arizona. The hydraulics strained against unusual weight. Axle springs compressed beyond normal limits. 9 minutes later, $17 million in cartel cash had vanished. By 11, the driver, Eli Tannenbaum, left his uniform neatly folded in a locker and disappeared without a trace. No calls, no withdrawals, no trail on any surveillance network in the country. How did a simple garbage truck driver manage to steal $17 million right under the DEA's nose? Investigators would later trace it back to one overlooked detail. Before we dive into the unbelievable story of a garbage truck driver who used a malfunction code to hide a stolen shipment, diverted $17 million in cartel cash straight off a city waste route, erased every trace from the system, and vanished before the DEA even arrived. Smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what happens next. Comment below where you're watching from, and tell me, would you have noticed the garbage man cleaning up more than trash? Eli Tannenbaum was 42, a driver for Desert Waste Logistics, punctual, quiet, invisible. For 18 months, he handled the industrial fringe of Phoenix, a belt of hangars and scrap yards where no one asked questions about what disappeared into the compactor. He lived alone in a studio apartment on McDowell Road. No criminal record, no debt, no family connections that mattered. One site always felt wrong: Desert Sun Construction. The warehouse on Miller Road claimed to process concrete, but showed no activity for months. No workers, no delivery trucks, no machinery sounds. Only a steel container that appeared every Tuesday morning like clockwork and vanished by evening. The building sat empty except for those 9 hours each week. Each Tuesday, he collected the sealed metal container there. Same crew of 2 men in construction vests, hard hats, safety glasses. No paperwork required, no digital manifest to sign, no questions asked about contents. The loads were far too heavy for standard industrial waste. His truck groaned under the weight every time. One morning in February, he rolled the truck onto a public weighing pad out of curiosity. The digital display showed 31,400 pounds, 3 times the legal limit for municipal collection routes. Standard concrete debris weighed maybe 10,000 pounds maximum. When he asked his supervisor, Ray Kowalski, about the weight discrepancy, the answer came smooth and practiced. Special industrial waste, high-density materials. Don't worry about it, Eli. County's got all the permits. That sentence stayed with him for weeks. He began logging weights and times by hand in a spiral notebook hidden in his truck's glove compartment. The official company system showed each Desert Sun pickup at exactly 9,200 pounds, well within normal ranges. His manual scale readings told a completely different story. Every Tuesday, 29,000 to 33,000 pounds without fail. A week later, he noticed something else disturbing. Each route record disappeared from the company database the following day. Digital trails were being systematically cleaned. 2 late-night sessions at the Phoenix Public Library revealed more inconsistencies. Desert Sun Construction had no business license history with the state, no tax payments on record, no EPA permits for concrete processing. The warehouse lease was paid 18 months in advance through a shell company registered in the Cayman Islands. What looked like routine municipal waste collection was actually a front for something much larger. Something that required invisibility, precise timing, and drivers who never asked uncomfortable questions. And Eli was the only person close enough to see the operation from inside. If nobody ever noticed him, who would notice when he stopped following orders? Eli started collecting intelligence systematically. GPS route printouts lifted from the depot computer during shift changes. Fuel receipts photocopied when supervisors were away. Weight station records photographed with a prepaid phone bought for cash. Over 6 weeks of careful observation, clear patterns emerged from the data. Every Tuesday pickup at Desert Sun coincided precisely with major currency seizures reported along the Mexican border. The timing was mathematical. Phoenix collection on Tuesday, federal raids in Nogales or Douglas exactly 48 hours later. The correlation was too precise to be coincidental. He cross-referenced news reports with his delivery logs. March 5th, Desert Sun pickup, 31,200 pounds. March 7, DEA seizes $14.2 million in Tucson. March 12th, pickup 29,800 pounds. March 14th, Border Patrol recovers $12.7 million near Lukeville. The pattern held for every Tuesday going back 4 months. Security log, March 3rd, 02:41 a.m. Access code accepted. Zone C2 clearance verified. He realized Desert Sun was not processing concrete at all. It was a sophisticated money laundering operation, moving cartel currency north through the legitimate waste management system. Physical cash was vacuum sealed into waterproof containers, mixed with actual industrial debris, and transported using municipal collection routes that attracted zero law enforcement attention. The system was brilliant in its simplicity. Garbage trucks were invisible infrastructure. They moved through every neighborhood, every business district, every secure facility without suspicion. Who would search a truck full of refuse? What border agent would inspect compressed waste heading away from Mexico? For 8 months, Eli had been the final civilian link in a chain that moved hundreds of millions in drug proceeds. The container he lifted every Tuesday held more money than most people saw in their entire lives. And the whole operation depended on drivers who followed routes, kept schedules, and never looked inside sealed containers. The idea of stealing from them started as pure mental exercise. How would someone hypothetically intercept that much cash? What vulnerabilities existed in the system? How long before anyone noticed? Then it became something more concrete. He tested the network methodically, probing for weaknesses without triggering alarms. First experiment. Unplugged his GPS tracking device for exactly 60 seconds during a scheduled stop. No alert appeared on his supervisor's monitor. No follow-up questions the next day. The gap was automatically attributed to signal interference. Second test. Manually swapped container tracking numbers on 2 consecutive pickup manifests. The system accepted both changes without flagging inconsistencies. No auditor reviewed the alterations. Digital oversight was clearly minimal. Third discovery, security camera coverage at the depot had significant blind spots. The loading dock, the equipment storage area, and the rear exit all lacked direct surveillance. Timing analysis showed supervisors followed predictable patrol schedules with gaps of 15 to 20 minutes. Case file 218 of 43B. Subject observed entering zone C2 at 0317. Standard waste collection protocol followed. One rainy Thursday, he drove to Miller Road during off hours to observe the Desert Sun facility directly. Security was surprisingly light for a multi-million-dollar operation. Single camera at the front gate. Motion sensors only on the main building entrance. The container loading dock where he made weekly pickups had no visible coverage at all. But something felt wrong about the setup. The containers were positioned too precisely. The timing was too exact. The crew that handled loading and unloading moved with military efficiency. These were not random criminals. They were professionals running a long-term operation with serious backing, which meant serious consequences for anyone who interfered. By March 3rd, theoretical planning became active rehearsal. By March 9th, rehearsal became operational preparation. But what if the cameras weren't off after all? Eli spent 3 weeks in February preparing his truck for modification. Working nights in a rented garage space in Glendale, he constructed a false floor inside the compactor using military surplus steel plating and salvaged hydraulic pistons from a Phoenix junkyard. The hidden compartment measured 4 feet by 6 feet by 18 inches deep, large enough to hold standard Federal Reserve cash bundles without affecting the vehicle's weight distribution or center of gravity. The modification required precise engineering. He welded steel brackets to the truck's frame and installed pneumatic seals to prevent moisture damage. The false floor appeared to be original equipment, complete with fabricated serial numbers and inspection stamps. Access required a specific sequence of hydraulic controls disguised as routine maintenance procedures. Total installation time, 72 hours of careful metalwork across multiple nights. He re-engineered the truck's GPS tracking system using components ordered from electronics suppliers in Los Angeles and Denver. The modification allowed him to broadcast false location data while the vehicle operated on alternative routes. He created duplicate tracking logs from previous runs and programmed them into a loop system that could run for up to 4 hours without detection. Frame-by-frame timestamp analysis would be required to detect the splice. Internal memo, Desert Waste Logistics, February 18th, Route D7 GPS variance noted. Automatic calibration scheduled for March 1. The system required regular testing. Every Thursday night for 6 weeks, Eli activated the false GPS system during off hours and drove alternative routes around Phoenix. He mapped dead zones in cellular coverage, identified locations with no traffic cameras, and timed response delays in the company's monitoring system. The longest gap he could create without triggering alerts was 47 minutes. For insider access, he recruited Naomi Fletcher, a former Desert Waste Logistics clerk, terminated 6 months earlier for falsifying overtime records and stealing office supplies. Naomi retained detailed knowledge of the company's digital infrastructure and still maintained contact with employees in the administrative department. Her personal financial situation was desperate. She owed $23,000 in credit card debt, faced eviction from her apartment, and had been rejected for employment at 7 companies due to her termination record. The recruitment took 2 months of careful approach. Eli first encountered her at a coffee shop near the company offices where she was reading classified ads. He posed as a freelance consultant researching waste management efficiency and offered to pay her for insights about industry practices. Over subsequent meetings, he gradually revealed his need for technical assistance with route optimization. For $4,000 in cash and a promise of additional payment after completion, Naomi provided master-level access codes for the company's route management system, employee scheduling database, and security monitoring protocols. She also demonstrated how to edit GPS tracking data retroactively, remove digital evidence of unauthorized route deviations, and modify wait station records without triggering audit flags. The training took place over 4 sessions in neutral locations around Phoenix: a library in Tempe, a restaurant in Scottsdale, a parking garage downtown, and a storage facility in Mesa. Personnel file, Fletcher, N. Terminated February 12th. Security clearance revoked. Badge access disabled. Final paycheck, $2,847. Reason, theft of company property. Eli's planning encountered 3 significant failures that nearly ended the operation before it began. First near failure, DOT inspection, March 15th. A Department of Transportation inspector randomly selected truck 4471 for a comprehensive compliance scan during Eli's regular route on Van Buren Street. Standard procedure would have revealed the hidden compartment immediately. Eli noticed the inspector's vehicle following him for 3 blocks and realized the selection was imminent. He quickly diverted to an alternative pickup location and approached Inspector Douglas Henley with a fabricated story about hazardous material contamination requiring specialized handling protocols. He paid Henley $800 in cash to mark the vehicle as cleared without full inspection due to safety concerns. The bribe was later disguised as a legitimate consulting fee in DOT records, with Henley claiming he provided advice on waste handling procedures. Second near failure, badge confusion, March 22nd. Maintenance worker Carlos Vega borrowed Eli's access badge while his own was being repaired by the IT department. The duplicate badge usage created overlapping entry logs that would have triggered automatic security alerts within 24 hours. The system was programmed to flag any badge used simultaneously in multiple locations or accessed outside normal shift patterns. Eli discovered the problem when he received an automated email notification about unusual access activity on his account. He spent the entire night manually editing timestamp data in the company database, removing evidence of the duplicate access and creating false maintenance records to explain the anomaly. The alteration process required accessing servers in 3 different buildings and left a microsecond gap between sequential transactions, a digital fingerprint that federal investigators would later use to trace the security breach. Third near failure, camera malfunction, March 28th. Heavy rain caused an electrical short in Eli's dashboard camera during routine collection runs in the Maryvale district. The 4-minute blackout from 7:44 to 7:48 a.m. triggered an automatic backup recording system that uploaded footage to an off-site server maintained by the insurance company. This backup system was unknown to most drivers and not mentioned in standard vehicle documentation. The timing of the malfunction precisely matched the window Eli had planned for the actual heist operation. when federal investigators later analyzed backup files from all company vehicles. This coincidence became critical evidence linking him to pre-operational planning and surveillance of the target location. Evidence log, FBI case, 4471 Phoenix. Dashboard backup file recovered from Allied Insurance archives. Timestamp gap indicates deliberate system interference. Every Tuesday became a full dress rehearsal. Eli practiced each component of the operation with stopwatch precision, timing every movement to ensure the plan stayed within acceptable operational parameters. Container connection and hydraulic lift. 45 seconds maximum. Hidden compartment access using the disguise control sequence. 1 minute, 20 seconds. Cash bundle transfer and secure storage. 3 minutes absolute maximum. Compartment resealing and route resumption with normal schedule. 0 deviations from expected timing that might trigger supervisor inquiry. He maintained detailed handwritten notes in a composition book purchased with cash from a drugstore in Glendale. The journal tracked every variable that could affect the operation: weather conditions and their impact on traffic flow, seasonal changes in supervisor patrol schedules, security camera maintenance windows, customer complaint patterns that might delay pickup schedules. The book contained precise hand-drawn maps of alternate routes with mile markers, backup locations for emergency equipment disposal with GPS coordinates, and contact information for document forgers and identity specialists in Tucson and Las Vegas. The final entry in his planning journal, written in blue ink on April 30th, read simply, "No second run, one chance only. Complete success or total abort. No middle ground." But the system had one flaw he couldn't eliminate. Testing revealed one persistent technical problem that threatened the entire operation. His GPS modification system occasionally generated brief signal inconsistencies, microsecond pings that didn't match the false tracking data being broadcast to company servers. These anomalies occurred randomly during system startup and were buried deep in routine operational logs that most technicians never reviewed. They were unlikely to be noticed during normal operations, but a dedicated forensic analysis by federal investigators would eventually uncover them and use them to reconstruct his operational timeline. That single unsynced GPS ping remained like a digital time bomb hidden in the company's data archives. FBI Technical Analysis Report: anomalous GPS data recovered from desert waste servers. Signal variance indicates systematic tampering over 47-day period. March turned to April. April became May. Every week brought new intelligence about the Desert Sun operation. The crew rotated on a monthly schedule, with different personnel handling container placement and security depending on the expected cash volume. Container weights varied between 28,000 and 34,000 pounds depending on weekly cash flow from cartel operations along the border. Security protocols remained consistent but showed vulnerabilities during shift changes and federal holiday periods when staffing was reduced. By late May, Eli had identified the optimal operational window: Tuesday, October 15th. Columbus Day was a federal holiday that would reduce law enforcement presence and delay emergency response times. Weather forecasts predicted clear skies with minimal chance of rain that might affect road conditions or visibility. His route that day included 3 routine commercial pickups that would provide natural cover for timing variations and explain any minor delays to supervisors monitoring the system. The plan was complete. The equipment was tested. The backup systems were in place. He trusted the system's blindness. But whose eyes were really closed? 07:35 a.m. Pre-approach truck. 4471 completes standard municipal pickup at Thunderbird Storage on 27th Avenue. Eli follows normal procedures: hydraulic engagement, container lift, compactor activation. Radio check with dispatch confirms routine status. No delays reported on his route. Traffic cameras show the vehicle proceeding east on schedule. Internal monitoring systems display normal GPS tracking data. Fuel consumption within expected parameters. Engine diagnostics show no anomalies. To external observers, this appears to be another standard Tuesday collection run. 07:40 a.m. Miller Road approach. The truck turns south onto Miller Road toward Desert Sun construction. External cameras capture the approach from 3 angles. Vehicle speed, 23 mph. within posted limits. No erratic driving patterns. The driver appears calm and focused through the windshield. Satellite imagery, later analyzed by federal investigators, shows no other vehicles in the immediate area. The warehouse district is empty except for routine morning deliveries to adjacent facilities. No suspicious activity detected by automated surveillance systems. 7:42 a.m., arrival and positioning camera. E7 at Desert Sun Construction shows truck 4471 reversing toward the loading dock with mechanical precision. Backup alarm echoes across the empty lot. Hydraulic systems engage with the standard pneumatic hiss. The truck settles into position exactly aligned with container DS441C. Two men in construction vests emerge from the warehouse. Hard hats, safety glasses, steel-toed boots. They move with practiced efficiency, checking hydraulic connections and safety locks. No words are exchanged. Hand signals coordinate the loading process. Container DS441C is a standard industrial waste unit, steel construction, weatherproof seals. External appearance suggests concrete debris and construction materials. Weight distribution appears normal to casual observation. 07:43 a.m., container engagement. Hydraulic arms extend and lock onto the container's lifting points. The truck's rear suspension compresses visibly as the weight transfers from the concrete pad to the vehicle chassis. Axle springs bend beyond normal operational limits. The engine revs higher to compensate for the load. Digital scales embedded in the dock register 31,847 pounds, nearly triple the weight declared on the pickup manifest. This discrepancy is not transmitted to Desert Waste Central Systems. Local records are automatically purged within 6 hours. Security log, October 15th, 07:43 a.m. Container DS441C secured. Hydraulic pressure nominal. Departure authorized. The container locks into transport position with a metallic clang that echoes off the warehouse walls. Both crew members step away from the truck in signal clearance. The entire loading process takes exactly 43 seconds. 07:44 a.m. Departure phase. Truck 4471 exits the Desert Sun facility and turns north onto Miller Road. Official GPS tracking shows the vehicle proceeding directly toward the next scheduled pickup at Industrial Boulevard. Speed, 31 mph. Route, standard commercial district pattern. No deviations from authorized schedule. The real truck turns east onto Camelback Road instead of north toward Industrial Boulevard. This maneuver occurs during a brief gap between traffic camera coverage zones. The deviation is invisible to automated tracking systems, broadcasting false location data. 07:47 a.m. Route deviation. Actual location, service road behind an abandoned strip mall on 32nd Street. The truck stops in a secluded area surrounded by desert scrub and construction debris. No visible surveillance, no foot traffic. Complete privacy for the next phase of the operation. Eli activates the truck's emergency brake and begins the compartment access sequence. Hidden hydraulic controls are disguised as routine maintenance procedures. The false floor retracts to reveal the secret storage area. 07:48 a.m. Container access. Using bolt cutters purchased with cash 3 weeks earlier, Eli breaks the security seals on container DS441C. Federal investigators later determined these seals were manufactured by Acme Security Systems and contained unique identifying numbers traceable to cartel purchasing records. Inside the container, $17.3 million in U.S. currency, bundled in Federal Reserve Bank wrapping with Dallas Federal Reserve markings. The cash is organized in $100,000 packets, vacuum sealed in plastic to prevent water damage and reduce bulk. Total weight of currency alone, 347 pounds. Mixed with the cash, authentic concrete debris, metal shavings, and industrial dust to disguise the container's true contents during routine transport. This camouflage material weighs approximately 30,000 pounds, making the total load consistent with previous pickups. 07:51 a.m. Cash transfer. Eli removes 68 cash bundles from the container, exactly $6.8 million in sequential $100 bills. This amount represents the maximum capacity of his hidden compartment without exceeding the truck's weight limits or affecting its handling characteristics. The remaining $10.5 million stays in the container to maintain the expected weight and avoid suspicion during final delivery. This calculated decision ensures the theft will not be immediately detected by the receiving organization. Each cash bundle is individually wrapped in plastic sheeting and secured with zip ties to prevent moisture damage. The transfer process requires 11 minutes, longer than planned, but still within acceptable operational parameters. 8:02 a.m. Compartment concealment. The hidden compartment is resealed using the hydraulic control sequence. External inspection shows no signs of tampering. The false floor appears to be original truck equipment. Weight distribution returns to normal as the stolen cash settles into the concealed storage area. Eli disposes of evidence at the scene: bolt cutters, latex gloves, plastic wrap, and a prepaid phone used for operational planning. All items are doused with bleach and buried 18 inches underground. GPS coordinates of the burial site are memorized but not recorded. 08:06 a.m. Return to schedule. The truck returns to Miller Road and rejoins the authorized route. Official GPS tracking shows no gap in coverage. Speed and timing appear consistent with normal operational parameters. Radio contact with dispatch confirms routine status. FBI field report. Evidence recovery team. Soil samples from 32nd Street location, positive for currency dye and cellular phone components. 8:23 a.m. Industrial Boulevard pickup truck 40471 arrives at Southwestern Metal Processing for scheduled collection. Timing is 7 minutes behind schedule, with an acceptable variance for traffic conditions. Customer signature obtained on digital manifest. No complaints or observations about the driver's behavior. The hidden compartment containing $6.8 million operates invisibly during routine hydraulic procedures. External sensors detect no anomalies. The truck's handling characteristics remain normal despite the additional weight. 08:45 a.m. Phoenix Sky Harbor route standard. Pickup at Sky Harbor Airport Maintenance Facility. Federal security cameras record the truck's arrival and departure. Background checks confirm Eli's authorization for airport access. No irregularities noted in security logs. During this pickup, Eli receives a text message on his personal phone. Package delivered safely. Thank you for your business. The message comes from an untraceable number and is deleted immediately. Federal investigators later determined this was a coded confirmation from his contact network. 09:15 a.m. Downtown Phoenix. The truck appears on 7th Street traffic cameras precisely on schedule. 3 additional municipal pickups follow: Phoenix City Hall, Arizona State University downtown campus, and Central Library. Witnesses at each location describe Eli as calm, professional, and efficient. Library security guard Maria Santos later tells investigators that Eli was whistling some tune while connecting the hydraulic systems. She remembers thinking it was unusual because most drivers seem stressed or impatient during collection runs. Case file 218-43B. Multiple witnesses confirm subject appeared relaxed and confident during standard operations. No signs of nervousness or unusual behavior. 10:33 a.m. Final approach. Truck off 4701 returns to Desert Waste Logistics Depot on schedule. Total route time, 3 hours 51 minutes, within normal variance for Tuesday commercial runs. Fuel consumption consistent with reported mileage. No maintenance issues reported. $6.8 million in cartel currency rides concealed beneath routine municipal waste as the truck passes through the facility's security checkpoint. Metal detectors are calibrated for weapons, not currency. Weight sensors show expected load parameters. 10:41 a.m. Should depot arrival. Eli backs the truck into loading bay 7 for waste discharge and equipment cleaning. Standard procedure requires hydraulic system cycling to ensure complete emptying. During this process, he activates the hidden compartment access sequence for the final time. Surveillance cameras monitor the loading bay, but are positioned to observe the waste discharge area, not the operator cabin. The compartment access occurs in a blind spot created by the truck's own bulk. 10:44 a.m. Final transfer. Using a large duffel bag normally used for tools and safety equipment, Eli transfers the stolen cash from the hidden compartment to a portable container. The $6.8 million in currency weighs approximately 136 pounds, manageable for a single person, but requiring careful handling. The empty compartment is resealed and the truck completes its standard waste discharge cycle. Hydraulic systems are cleaned and inspected according to routine protocols. No anomalies are detected by maintenance staff. 10:52 a.m. Equipment shutdown. All truck systems are powered down and secured. Standard end-of-shift procedures are followed exactly. Keys are returned to the dispatch office. Fuel levels are logged. Maintenance requirements are noted for the next driver. Security log, October 15th, 10:53 a.m. Truck 44701 secured. End-of-shift protocol completed. No irregularities reported. 11:17 a.m. Personal preparation. Eli proceeds to the employee locker room carrying the duffel bag containing $6.8 million. He changes from his work uniform into civilian clothes, jeans, button-down shirt, baseball cap, and running shoes. The transformation takes 6 minutes. His desert waste uniform is folded precisely and placed in locker 471. Work boots are aligned underneath. Company badge is positioned on top of the folded shirt. The arrangement suggests a planned departure rather than routine end of shift. 11:24 a.m. Building exit security cameras show Eli entering the employee break room, but no corresponding footage of his departure. The camera coverage has a 12-second gap caused by automatic cleaning cycle of the lens system. He exits during this brief window. 11:33 a.m. Final departure. Eli leaves the desert waste facility through the rear maintenance exit using a master key that provides access to all building areas. This key was officially reported missing from the security office 2 hours later. Its disappearance was attributed to routine administrative error. Door log, maintenance exit. 3. Override access recorded. Badge identification, unreadable. Manual review required. External cameras capture him walking toward the employee parking area, carrying the duffel bag. His personal vehicle, a 2011 Honda Civic, is not visible in the lot. Investigators later determined it was moved to an off-site location 3 days earlier. 11:47 a.m. Communication blackout. All electronic contact with Eli Tannenbaum ceases at this timestamp. Personal phone, disconnected. Credit cards, no activity. Bank accounts, no transactions. Social media, profiles deleted. Email, accounts closed. 14:47 p.m. Secondary extraction. A woman identifying herself as Eli's sister arrives at Desert Ridge Elementary School. She presents a notarized letter dated October 12th requesting early dismissal for 8-year-old Maya Tannenbaum due to a family emergency requiring immediate travel. The authorization appears legitimate and matches school records for approved pickup personnel. Maya leaves with the woman without protest, suggesting familiarity. Both disappear from school surveillance systems after reaching the parking lot. Authentication report, Maricopa County Clerk. Notarization verified. Clerk's signature matches Rebecca Morrison, deceased October 16th, natural causes. 48 hours later, digital evidence. An anonymous video appears on encrypted file-sharing platform Darknet Market 7. The 37-second clip shows handheld footage of truck 44771's interior. Stacks of $100 bills are clearly visible, still wrapped in Federal Reserve banding. The Desert Sun construction warehouse is visible through the truck's windshield. Metadata analysis reveals the video was uploaded from a location in central Mexico. VPN services mask the exact origination point. The footage is removed from all platforms after 36 hours of circulation. 72 hours later, physical destruction. Desert Sun construction warehouse burns to the ground at 3:17 a.m. on October 18th. Phoenix Fire Department responds within 8 minutes, but the building is already fully engulfed. Arson investigators find evidence of thermite accelerant in multiple locations. Internal temperatures exceed 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, sufficient to destroy all paper records, computer equipment, and forensic evidence. The fire was accelerated by disconnected sprinkler systems that had been sabotaged 6 hours before ignition. 1 week later, Federal Response FBI and DEA established Joint Task Force PR 1198, Phoenix Rising, to investigate the heist and its connection to the warehouse fire. The case is classified as a federal crime due to interstate money laundering and cartel involvement. Initial assessment confirms Desert Sun Construction was a primary financial hub for the Medellin Norte cartel. processing an estimated $400 million annually through the Phoenix metropolitan area. Internal memo, DEA Southwest Division. A municipal sanitation worker has compromised a 14-month federal investigation and allowed primary targets to escape prosecution. If the GPS data was falsified, who controlled the real tracking system? Joint Task Force PR 1198 begins investigation with comprehensive analysis of desert waste logistics systems. Computer forensics reveal extensive evidence of data manipulation dating back 47 days. GPS tracking records show multiple anomalies consistent with systematic tampering. The unsynced GPS ping that Eli failed to eliminate provides investigators with their first concrete evidence. Digital timestamp analysis reveals the signal originated from truck 4471 during periods when official records show the vehicle at different locations. This data breach becomes the foundation for criminal charges. FBI Technical Analysis Report. GPS data indicates coordinated deception operation. Subject possessed advanced knowledge of company surveillance systems. Physical evidence recovered from the 32nd Street burial site includes one destroyed prepaid phone with partial SIM card data, bolt cutters with fingerprints matching Eli Tannenbaum, latex gloves containing DNA evidence, and soil samples positive for Federal Reserve currency dye. The buried phone yields fragmentary contact information linking to Naomi Fletcher's involvement. When arrested at her apartment in Tempe, Fletcher provides complete cooperation in exchange for reduced charges. Her testimony confirms Eli's planning timeline and technical assistance requirements. Arrest report. Fletcher Naomi. Conspiracy to commit grand theft. Cooperation agreement signed. Bail set at $150,000. Financial analysis reveals the scope of the cartel operation destroyed by the heist. Desert Sun Construction processed currency from drug sales across the southwestern United States. Weekly shipments averaged $12 to $15 million, transported through waste management routes to avoid detection by federal agencies. The theft forces immediate shutdown of the entire network. Primary cartel operatives flee to non-extradition territories in Central America. Secondary arrests fail due to destruction of evidence in the warehouse fire. 14 months of DEA investigative work is lost. DEA case summary. Operation terminated due to compromise. Primary targets escaped. Financial losses exceed $17 million. Network remains operational in alternate locations. Interpol tracking systems flag suspicious activity at border crossings throughout North America. The alias Noah Grant Whitaker appears in customs databases at Mexico City International Airport, Toronto Pearson, and Vancouver International. Each sighting occurs within 6 hours, suggesting coordinated document fraud. Border surveillance cameras in Belize City capture a man matching Eli's physical description, boarding a charter fishing boat on October 23rd. The vessel's manifest lists 5 passengers, but provides no passenger identification. Destination: international waters, then unknown. International alert: Interpol database. Subject possibly utilizing multiple false identities. Coordination with Central American law enforcement requested. Bahamian authorities discover an abandoned fishing cabin on Andros Island after receiving an anonymous tip. The location shows evidence of recent habitation. Warm generator, fresh food supplies, navigation charts marked with coordinates in the Caribbean. No occupants found. The cabin contains sophisticated communications equipment capable of encrypted satellite transmission. Technical analysis suggests the equipment was used to coordinate financial transfers to offshore banking systems. No transaction records are recovered. Evidence log, Royal Bahamas. Police communications equipment seized. Manufacturer, German. Purchase date, indeterminate. No recoverable data. Maya Tannenbaum and her alleged guardian disappear completely from surveillance systems after leaving Desert Ridge Elementary. School security footage shows them entering a blue sedan with Arizona plates. The vehicle is later determined to be stolen from a Phoenix airport parking lot 3 weeks before the heist. Investigation reveals the custody authorization letter was genuine, signed by Rebecca Morrison, a retired Maricopa County clerk. Morrison died of natural causes 4 days after the heist. Her family reports no knowledge of the document or any connection to Eli Tannenbaum. Medical examiner report, Morrison, Rebecca. Cause of death, cardiac arrest. No suspicious circumstances. Document authentication confirmed posthumously. 18 months after the heist, Mexican intelligence intercepts encrypted communications referencing Basura Fantasma, the ghost garbage man. The messages discuss consulting fees paid to an untraceable account in the Cayman Islands. No additional intelligence is developed from these intercepts. Financial investigators trace multiple offshore transactions totaling approximately $6.3 million through a network of shell companies and cryptocurrency exchanges. The transfers occur over a 16-month period, suggesting the stolen currency was converted gradually to avoid detection. Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. Suspicious activity reports filed. Currency conversion patterns consistent with professional money laundering operation. Exactly 1 year after the heist, traffic surveillance cameras near Nogales, Arizona, capture an unregistered garbage truck traveling south on Highway 82 at 7:42 a.m. The vehicle displays no identifying markings and disappears from all tracking systems 4 minutes later. The timestamp matches exactly with the original heist. Federal investigators interpret this as either elaborate coincidence or a deliberate message from the perpetrator. No further sightings are confirmed. Border Patrol intelligence report. Unidentified commercial vehicle crossed international boundary. No pursuit initiated due to lack of probable cause. The $17 million in cartel currency is never recovered. The Medellin Norte cartel continues operations but shifts to alternative money laundering networks outside Arizona. Federal agencies estimate the theft temporarily disrupted $200 million in annual drug proceeds. Eli Tannenbaum remains on the FBI's most wanted list for grand theft, money laundering, and conspiracy charges. International warrants have been issued through Interpol. The case file remains active with periodic reviews for new leads. FBI case status, subject at large, investigation ongoing, recovery efforts suspended pending new intelligence. Desert Waste Logistics implements comprehensive security upgrades, including real-time GPS monitoring, enhanced employee background checks, and mandatory psychological evaluations. The company pays $2.3 million in federal fines for security violations. The case remains open. The system, still cracked,